Hey, it's Anita with Discover Sonoma County Living, and today we're going to talk about how to make sure you're not buying a property lemon. Coming up right now. So you love the house, it's really cute, it's in a great neighborhood, and you have some renovation plans, so you don't really care that it's an older kitchen because you're gonna blow it out and go through and maybe do some great renos, but you're not quite sure about the house. You have kind of a gut feeling that maybe you should look into it a little bit more. So here are 5 or 6 things to think about to justify that gut feeling and to make yourself reassured that it's legitimate. The next thing is smells. Smells have to be good smells. Now, if you've watched one of my other videos and I talk about how to get your house on the market the right way, if there's one thing that impacts people immediately when they walk through the door is, oh, look, it smells awesome. In fact, I did a whole string of videos on putting your house on the market during the holidays because the smells in the house are pretty good a lot of times because people are cooking. And we're all working from home these days, so people are cooking from home even more. So there can be great food smells in the house. But what if they're not such good smells? What if it's a musty smell and you've never really smelled mold before? And must, and you're kind of like, it's kind of a natural smell you don't like. And if you haven't smelled it a lot, which I have because I've been in property management for years and I've worked at really bad properties that are just moldy. Not all mold will kill you. There's like a whole thing about that which you can learn, but a lot of it makes people sneeze and have respiratory problems, and it can be pretty bad. And it can be rotting your house, the wood in your house. So if you smell wetness or dampness, that's not a good sign. So I walk around houses smelling a lot because I want to smell nothing. Dryness is what I want to smell. So when you go into a house, start smelling because it's important. As a realtor, we do what's called an AVID, the Agent's Visual Inspection, and a disclosure, I think is the D. And we do this sometime during the process after the offer's been inspected. And this is our visual that we have to do and check off that says to the buyer and the seller that I actually looked at the house myself. Okay, but I'm no professional. I can't look at the house and go, well, that brown spot is from water in the ceiling, because I don't really know where that brown spot came from. I'm not a professional brown spot investigator, okay? But just like you, I can look at a house and see something that's just not right. It's discolored, or it looks rusty, which means maybe there's a pipe next to a wall that's leaking and causing the wall to get discolored. These are things the inspectors come up with, but as you're looking around at homes, you kind of want to just start thinking about things above and beyond the beauty of the kitchen and that spectacular fireplace that's in the living room. You really want to look at the structure and the soil, cracks, smells, and rust and rotting. And you're not a pro at it maybe, but you can use your instinct and just go, wow, this house is really falling apart. I think it's going to cost us $100,000 just to fix it once we buy it. And maybe $100,000's not in your stars. So it's super important just to have good instincts when you go into something. And then of course the inspectors are going to justify what you were thinking or what you spotted. And you're going to be able to make better decisions on whether you want to move forward with the purchase of the home. As a realtor, I look at a lot of houses, and I have a certain way that I look at a house from the time I approach it, from the driveway to walking around inside and out of it, just from an initial looking at it point of view. This isn't including all the inspectors that are going to go through if indeed the sellers accept your offer, all right? But this is just looking at a house, kind of knowing the age of the house, who built it. Your realtors oftentimes really get to know the neighborhoods. and they know if they're not really well-made homes or if they were really great homes from the 1960s, which we see a lot of in Santa Rosa. And so there's just a few things to really look at. And the first thing that I do when I'm approaching a house is looking to see if there's cracks in the driveway and cracks in the foundation. So I might get you through the front door as we're looking around, but I will start walking around and looking at the foundation of the house, the driveway, the cement in the backyard, looking at what the ground has actually done. And eventually when you buy a house, there is a natural hazard report, which will kind of tell you if it's built on adobe soil, which we have a lot of, if it's in a flood zone, so you might get a little water underneath the house once in a while. Does it have a sump pump underneath it? These are things that can maybe contribute to a foundation cracking, along with it just not being a properly poured foundation perhaps in the first place. So looking at the foundation the right way and really staring at it for cracks is probably one of the first things you want to do when you approach a house. And so lastly, I'm going to talk about standing water. So standing water is not good, and it might not be rotting the house away, but it probably is doing some kind of damage somewhere, which is why you might be smelling a little musty smell in the house. So when you're walking around the outside of the house, especially, it's kind of the only place when you're just looking at the house the first time, you want to look at standing water. Or if you see any, you just kind of want to go, okay, I'm going to ask the inspector about that. So standing water can mean drainage problems, and drainage problems, if it's going to turn into a lake underneath your house, is not going to be good, and it's not going to be a cheap repair at all. So just kind of keep your eye out for that standing water. Hey, this is Anita Anderson with Discover Sonoma County Living. I hope you learned a little bit from this video. There's a lot to think about when you go to buy a house, right? So I hope I gave you some good tips on how to not buy a lemon. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget all the free stuff below, like your free buyer's guide and the Homes for Heroes program. If you're a first responder, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, active or retired military, I'm a part of the Homes for Heroes program, which means you get a big fat check from me after your transaction is complete. So make sure you check out the Homes for Heroes program. It's great. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video right over there.